Hey Canucks fans, the Canucks have finalized their coaching staff, and let's take a look at a potential taxi squad. I'm Clay Emo, I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter. I'm at Clay Emo on Instagram. I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club. This is my Canucks take, all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Wednesday, December the 23rd. This is where you get Canucks insight that's positive and timely. So many cool things to tell you about. Last night I had a wonderful live stream. Thanks to everyone for joining me. Tonight, I'm interviewing Chris Faber. Look for that, that next interview, my Zoom chat series. Look for that on my channel in the next couple of days. And then I'm working very hard on finishing off our video, the next Canucks Christmas Carol with Marie and me. I'm gonna put that as a YouTube premiere tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I cannot wait for you to see and hear this. I absolutely love it. I'm biased, of course, because it's our song, but I know that you guys are going to love this one. Okay, let's talk about the Vancouver Canucks. Let's talk about the coaching staff and the potential taxi squad. Canucks just announced about 10 minutes ago that they've promoted Jason King as an assistant coach. So Jason King will take the place of Manny Malhotra, not necessarily behind the bench. I'll get to that in a sec. But Jason King, former Canucks player, had a small yet memorable stint with the Sedins as their line mate. He is indeed an assistant coach now. And Chris Higgins is going to be skills and development coach. They join, of course, head coach Travis Green, assistant coaches Nolan Baumgartner and Newell Brown, goaltending coach Ian Clark, video coach Daryl Seward. So there we go. That's the final roster. So basically, Jason King comes in to replace Manny Malhotra, and Chris Higgins comes into place Glenn Carnegie, who is the former skills coach there. So that's the Canucks. Like I said, that's the coaching staff right now. You have behind the bench, you have Travis Green and Nolan Baumgartner. We know runs the defense. Then we have Newell Brown, who runs the power play and the offense. And then we'll see what Jason King ends up doing. Usually, you only have one assistant head coach and two assistant coach on the bench. So likely Jason King will be up in the booth somewhere. And then, of course, there's Chris Higgins as skills development, Ian Clark as goaltending, and Daryl Seward as video coach. So it's good. It's nice that we were wondering who they would hire to replace Manny Malhotra. And now we know it's Jason King, another former Canucks player. So good news all around. You want to be settled, especially as you're going to prepare for training camp that opens on January 3rd. You need all guys ready to go. And of course, these coaches, I'm sure, have been meeting, will continue to meet over the next couple of weeks in preparation for training camp. So that announcement just came out from the Canucks a few minutes ago. Let me know your reaction, your thoughts on that appointment of Jason King and Chris Higgins, both former Vancouver Canucks players. Okay, let's talk about this taxi squad. Now, we know that with this upcoming season, it can be a little different, but every team is going to be allowed to carry 4 to 6 players on what they call a taxi squad. You can think of it as the Black Aces, basically players that won't even dress as part of the active roster or won't even be next man up. And I'll explain that in a second. But these players are to practice in the city, in the home city. And therefore, and the whole point is you can easily recall them and get them into the lineup as opposed to trying to call someone up from Utica, have them cross the border, and then have to suffer through or wait through a 2-week quarantine. So obviously there's going to be salary rules, there's going to be waiver rules, all those things. So it's not like you can just take a guy from your taxi squad and put him right on your lineup and he can play that night. There's got to be, or at least there's got to be a certain procedure to follow. But the whole point is at least they're going to be in Vancouver as opposed to halfway across the continent in Utica. So let's talk about this taxi squad. But before that, we got to predict kind of who's going to be on the roster anyways. So we know that the team is allowed a 23-man roster. You take out the 2 goalies, now you're at 21. And usually, obviously there's 12 forwards, 6 defensemen generally in a traditional lineup and 2 goalies. So 12 plus 6 plus 2, that makes your 20 already. So that means you're allowed 3 extra bodies that are healthy scratches generally. And you either go 2 defensemen and 1 goalie, 2 defensemen and 1 forward, or you go 1 defenseman and 2 forwards. So that's why you often see alignments of 14 forwards, 7 D-men, 2 goalies, or 13 forwards, 8 D-men, and 2 goalies. So it's either 14 and 7 or 13 and 8. Basically, you break down the 21 skaters that way, 14, 7 or 13 and 8. So I'm gonna let's not get too caught up in who's going to be healthy, who's going to be the healthy scratch, who's going to play with who's going to be on what line. But I predict the Canucks 23 roster to be as so, and then that's how we build out our taxi squad. So no surprise that I think our forwards will be Pettersson, Miller, Besser, Horvat, Pearson, Virtanen, then some combination of Gaudette, Roussel, Eriksson, Mott, Beagle, Sutter, McEwen, and Jason Harlock, our 14. Those I think are going to be the 14 forwards. Then I think on D, you have Edler, Hughes, Schmidt, Myers, Ben, Juolevi, and I'm going to go with Brogan Rafferty as our 7th D-man. And so that's who I think it is, those 14 forwards and those 7 D-men. So that means, and the 2 goalies, of course, of Demko and Holtby. So that means we have to pick our taxi squad, predict our taxi squad, 4 to 6 players that are not in those 23 that I just mentioned. Well, let's do the goaltender first. I think that's got to be Mike DiPietro. It absolutely has to be. It's not going to be Jake Keeley. It's got to be DiPietro, even though he's not going to get game action. We don't even know if Utica's going to be playing. So let's say it's DiPietro. And you got to have someone who, because all it takes is for one, even a minor injury with a compressed schedule, your third goalie, I think, is going to get some playing time. So that's why I think it's got to be Mikey DiPietro. And whereas we're anointing Demko the goalie of the present, now DiPietro is the goalie of the future. They've kind of all moved up one slot with the departure of Jacob Markstrom. So let's go Michael DiPietro taking the first of our 6 spots. I'm going to put 2 more defensemen on our taxi squad. And these are guys that likely would have made the team. Likely are fighting for the 6th and 7th spots. And that is Jack Rathbone and Jalen Chatfield. Rathbone, left side D, smooth skater, great offensive skill. Hasn't played a pro game yet, though, as he's been playing in college. So I think Jack Rathbone would be a good person to have on the taxi squad. And on the right side, you have Jalen Chatfield. He's had a sniff of pro hockey, sturdy, kind of Chris Tanev light in that he's not as experienced, obviously not as good. But I think he'd be good on the taxi squad as well. So if I'm saying that Juolevi and Rafferty are making the big club, I'm saying Rathbone and Chatfield are making the taxi squad. So that leaves 3 more spots, giving them to the 3 forwards. I'm giving it to Justin Bailey, who has, played 2 games for the Canucks last season, just signed the 1-year contract, has potential, has NHL speed at least. Not sure about his hockey IQ and his defensive capability, but he's got to work on that. So I put Bailey on the practice squad because you can inject him if you need to. And remember, these taxi squad guys, I should say, they're not necessarily going to get in because you still have healthy scratches, right? And in my example, I had 2 forwards and 1 D-man as my healthy scratches. So they're still like 2 rungs away, if that makes sense. So I do put Justin Bailey there. I put Sven Berchi on my taxi squad. He has played in the NHL before. I just vlogged about him last week. I think he could come in the lineup if you need him to. And he can play in your middle 6. So I put Sven Berchi on there. And with my last spot, I'm giving it to Niels Höglander. I'm not sure if he's going to make the team outright out of camp. But if you think that it's better for his development to be around the pro team and to be practicing with the team, and who I know would be very intriguing to see him and his skill set in the lineup. I still think we're a year away, but I think he'd be good to have on the taxi squad, that he's around and traveling and he's with the team at least practicing with the team and being around the guys, some professional hockey players. So that's my taxi squad. It's Michael DiPietro, it's Jack Rathbone, it's Jalen Chatfield, it's Justin Bailey, it is Sven Berchi, and it is Niels Höglander. So a few names that I did not put on this taxi squad who I think are still a little bit away. I think Cole Lind is still maybe, I think he's 1 year away or so, but you might lose him to expansion draft. You never know. I also put center Mark Michaelis on there. He been playing in Germany, I believe, this season, and he might be an option. I put him on there as the next up to the taxi squad. I've seen some lists that have him on the taxi squad because he is a center, so that's something to think about. But right now, he doesn't make my taxi squad. And then I have 2 defensemen on there, Ashton Sautner, and I have Guillaume Brisebois as well. I always butcher that name, but I have Sautner and Brisebois. So guys that just are on the cusp of making the taxi squad, and those taxi squad guys are on the cusp of making the team. I have Sautner, Brisebois, Michaelis, and who did I say right at the very start? Sautner, Brisebois, Michaelis, and Cole Lind. Then actually on the taxi squad, I have DiPietro, Chatfield, Rathbone, Bailey, Berchi, and Höglander. Canucks fans, let me know what you think. Tell me who would be on your taxi squad. Tell me if I'm too high on certain guys or too low on other guys. And let me know what you think of the Canucks coaching appointments as well. Leave a comment below. I'd love to read, react, and reply. Subscribe if you'd like to. Like this video if you'd like to. I have to go get ready now. I'm going to be golfing with 3 of my buddies, including my season ticket partner Mike and 2 other guys who I play hockey and talk hockey with all the time. So I think it's going to be 4 hours of talking hockey and finding our golf balls at the same time. So I look forward to my chat with Chris Faber over the next couple days. Look forward to my new Christmas Carol with Marie tomorrow morning. And and I'll connect with you sometime tomorrow. In the meantime, as always, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. Have a great day. God bless, and go Canucks go.